Suzy Ward, channeling Matthew Ward, March 17, 2018. With loving greetings from all souls at this station, this is Matthew. Let us begin by allaying concerns that your world is going to run out of drinking water. The Illuminati's use of weather technology to create areas of drought. One part of their now doomed plan to eliminate most of the world's population was intended to cause millions to die of thirst. That will not happen. Weather manipulation, which also is responsible for the wild storms and record temperatures that have delayed Mother Nature's return to a moderate climate globally, is going to meet its end along with all of the Illuminati's other diabolical activities. Dear ones, feel heartened by the progress of grassroots movements in many aspects of life on Earth, and by knowing that technologies the Illuminati have kept hidden or maliciously used will be coming into benevolent hands to use openly without recrimination. And, when it is safe for members of our space family to join you, they will introduce technology whose vibrations will turn vast deserts into arable lands, restore rainforests, eradicate toxic pollutants in air, water, and soil, and heal extensive damage caused by extraction of fossil fuels. Gaia's planetary body that once was the Garden of Eden shall again be a healthy, pristine paradise. Apparently the North and South Korean Olympic team was Kim Jong-un's way to publicly announce his interest in talking with Moon Jae-in about reunification. With China and the USA involved, what do you see coming out of the four-country meeting? That Kim Jong-un wants to discuss reunification with South Korea is easing the tension that had been building, but several details about this encouraging development are yet to be seen. Will the presidents of South Korea, China, and the United States agree on what to demand of North Korea? What will the countries offer in return? Once there is agreement on those issues, who will present the proposal to Kim Jong-un? Will he accept or reject the proffered terms? If the latter, will a series of negotiations achieve a satisfactory compromise? Regardless of what transpires in the very near term, prevailing vibrations support reunification of the two Koreas, and the eventual agreement of all nations with nuclear weaponry to eliminate their arsenals. What we shall say about the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, will be clear without including your questions and comments. This was not a matter of soul contract choices for any whose lives were lost, their families or others who love them. In a mass shooting some years ago, everyone who was directly affected had agreed to that experience to effect change that would prevent another incident of that kind anywhere in the country. Since then, no collective soul agreements have been part of any mass shootings. Of course you want your children to be safe in school, but arming and training teachers or other school personnel will not achieve that. Pointing to mental illness as the cause of mass shootings while ignoring the legal proliferation of the kinds of weapons the shooters use guarantees that those incidents will not end. We are going to digress a moment to give you pertinent background information. The Illuminati, and before them other puppets of the dark forces, have been in the forefront of producing weapons, ammunitions, and all other machinery of war from the outset. To assure a continuing market down through the centuries, they indoctrinated the civilization to believe that the way to peace is through war and following orders to fight for freedom is patriotic. And, after taking steps to ensure the outbreak of civil, international, or worldwide wars, they sold arms to both sides. Wars have enriched their manufacturing companies, served their plan to eliminate many millions of the world's people, and created the low vibrations of fear and violence that the Dark Ones need for survival. After the colonies united, and fought the British to gain independence from royal empirical rule, the leaders who emerged wrote a constitution to which amendments were added over the years. The Illuminati saw an opportunity, and seized it. They distorted the intention of the Second Amendment, whose well-regulated militia was about the nascent United States having a defense force to protect its newly won independence if the need arose. Lest the citizenry start asking, how well regulated is our civilian population armed with weapons made for warfare? The Illuminati formed the NRA, sprinkled their minions throughout the organization, and had lobbyists donate handsomely to politicians who cite the Second Amendment as the legal right of the populace to buy weaponry designed for today's battlefields. Now then, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School students who are advocating changes in gun laws are not doing so under the auspices of any liberal organization or because of pressure from any government agency so they can take away guns from law-abiding citizens. Nor was the shooting a psyop. Construing that tragedy, and others like it as hired actors staging the occurrence for the same aim. Confiscation of weapons is another page out of the Illuminati's mass mind programming handbook. It is lamentable, but explainable, that their influence in this respect still is strong. Vibrations that are separating wheat from chaff, in a manner of speaking, are bringing to light the wound made by darkness in the national psyche so it can be healed. We wholeheartedly support the students in Parkland, and all who have joined them in a national safety movement that their government cannot keep on discounting. Sensible measures that will be firmly opposed by politicians beholden to the NRA before enactment by public demand will precede the country's pervasive gun culture fading into history. But most assuredly that is coming because the planet is moving toward energy planes where no kind of violence can exist. A number of you have asked what the event is, and when it will happen, and one reader added, apparently it also is known as the Cosmic Galactic Dance. While we do recognize that this is related to planetary and personal ascension, therefore is based in the power of love, we don't know to what single event the sources of that information are referring. So we shall tell you what we have been observing of your world's events, which are numberless and, like everything else in existence, are energy vibrating at one frequency or another, and the reactions of the peoples. As the light on Earth kept intensifying, events like the harmonic convergence stirred many individuals to soul search, and start on a pathway to advance in spiritual and conscious awareness. Some continued on that path without deviating regardless of what events they encountered. Others who also started with gusto veered off course due to some event, and after a subsequent event or two returned them to the path, where they continued their journey until some new event led them into another detour. Later they experienced an event that put them back on the path, and so on. We have seen individuals who, until they entered nirvana, were consciously unaware that simply by living in godly ways, they had traveled a growth pathway lifelong. We have seen individuals choose the lure of darkness and the masses too burdened with bare subsistence to even wonder if there might be a lighted pathway. Every soul's reaction to the countless events that affected their lives has been as unique as each of them is. In that sense, life during this unprecedented time on Earth can be thought of as a cosmic galactic dance that everyone attends, a dance that is speeding up markedly, and will continue until all of society is one, and the grandeurs of the Golden Age can unfold. Now, just as all along, we see souls on the lighted pathway moving toward that age, each at its own pace. What we do not see is dancers in the forefront at a standstill, awaiting the rest to catch up so the civilization can experience some event en masse. Please understand that our perspective in no way diminishes the validity of others' perspectives that also are leading to the era when all darkness is vanquished, and light prevails throughout your world. Please ask Matthew about the incontrovertible evidence that Russia tried to influence the US presidential election. His previous messages stated otherwise. The evidence that Russian trolls on social media could have influenced voters is authentic, but, and by no means in its defense, that had nothing at all to do with the election outcome. As stated in previous messages, that was due to a technical error made by Illuminati minions after they successfully rigged Democratic primaries. The powerful few at the peak of that secret society, or cabal, have been able to keep the truth suppressed, thereby giving the government basis to clamor about Russia's meddling in the country's electoral process. But the objection rings hollow. The United States, the most Illuminati-controlled of all democratic nations, historically has been selfing in maneuvering elections in numerous countries, and putting or supporting despotic rulers in others. One reason, beloved brothers and sisters, that you volunteered for this earth lifetime was to help the peoples expose and rid their governments of the ages-old corruption that still is being bought and paid for by dark minds and hearts. With our young people's addiction to social media via their cell phones, we won't have a brighter future to look forward to because the people who are supposed to create a better world can't get their eyes off their phones. Is there any hope in sight? Absolutely, hope is in sight. A great number of young people came in with fourth density spiritual and conscious awareness. They are intelligent, articulate, empathic visionaries with the wisdom to heed their intuition, and in large part, they are using the speed and breadth of social media to further their desire to create a better world. Cell phone use by many other youths and adults is less constructive, to be sure. But as rising vibrations uplift all facets of life, the society will recognize the emotional shallowness of using social media to disseminate or read trivia, propaganda, and vitriol, and cell phones will cease to be electronic appendages. More than any other time in Earth's recorded history, the future is bright because today's youth, tomorrow's leaders, will make it so. With good reason, vibrations are central to all issues addressed in this message. When you think about property, location, 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 is of utmost importance. Earth is immeasurably more valuable than any piece of her property, and to her, vibrations, 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 are of utmost importance. Dear family, your steadfastness in the light is helping Earth's vibratory levels keep rising, and this goes far, far beyond uplifting your world. Everything everywhere, affects everything else, everywhere else. Vibrations on Earth go out into your solar system, into the galaxy, and on into the universe. All lighted souls honor and support you with unconditional love, the highest vibration in the cosmos. Love and peace. Suzanne Ward. Website, The Matthew Books. Email, suzy@matthewbooks.com. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Universal Channeling. Channeling the conscious universe.